This is
Make it plain.
Make it plain.
MIP.
With Masamela Matfumo.
Mark Thompson.
Make it plain.
Get woke.
Those of you listening on the Pitbull channel for our simulcast, we welcome you to this live show. This is Make It Plain. Xorje Jueves. Xorje Olivares is here in studio. We're streaming too on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make It Plain. And on Instagram, Minister with 2 T's. So we are here. You can see Xorje in the flesh. What's up, man?
I'm well. Hold on.
Oh, his mic's not on. Is his mic on there? Okay.
Hey. I'm well. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little tired.
You already went to Texas, right?
Went to San Antonio, yeah.
How did you enjoy it?
It's hot. It's blazes.
Yeah.
It's burning up.
The other day, my aunt posted on Facebook. She still lives in my hometown in South Texas. And it was like October 3rd. And she said, oh, I'm dying because my AC is not working. I was like, your AC? Why do you have to worry about AC in October? But it gets that hot in Texas.
When was the last time you went home?
Last time I went home was Christmas. So I'm going home for sure for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, because if I don't, then I will probably be disowned by my family.
Well, since you brought up Texas first.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about the race down there in Beto?
So, of course, when you're in your own little Twitter feed and when your own little Facebook feed and you follow people who share similar thoughts as you, then everybody on my Twitter timeline, everybody on my Facebook is so pro Beto, and everybody's fighting for Beto. Everyone's posting their little Beto t-shirts, their Beto signs.
You say his name like he's Latino.
I do. Okay, so you're this. So Sean Bertolo, the guy, EP of the channel, he's like, wait, say his name again. I was like, Beto, because I know 20 gazillion Betos in my life. But I hope he can pull it out, because the latest polls come out, like the New York Times has been monitoring it, and everything shows that Cruz is at least 2 to 3 points up. And I don't know, maybe in my head, I just don't want to believe the numbers that are coming out, but I think he's done such a wonderful job about making sure he has this national presence and that he's part of the national conversation about the midterms. But I hope that translates to people actually going out and voting, because this week was the deadline for people, especially in Texas, to register to vote. And I'm hoping a lot of people did that. I'm encouraged because when he went to my hometown maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, my sister said that it was impossible to get through, that everybody was just jammed up in their cars trying to get to the lake where he was speaking. And just seeing the pictures that came out of my hometown, just seeing everything else with regards to the response he receives for going through all the counties in Texas, I hope that that means well for him. But I think at this point in time, because of the divisive nature of where we are in politics, people are just, I don't think they care what he has to say. They just see the D next to his name and they think, oh, I'm not going for him.
Really?
And that they'll immediately go for Ted Cruz. The thing that I think will hopefully work against Ted Cruz, I know, is everything that's been coming out, like the SNL skit where they made fun of Ted Cruz, and Beto literally being on Ellen and Colbert. And I hope people in Texas, in those regions that are still undecided, will see that and say, okay, yeah, he's got that quality to him that I like. The thing that I found interesting, though, was Obama released like a list of people that he's endorsing. Beto was not on it. And when Beto was questioned about, do you want Obama's endorsement? He said, well, I think we'll be fine. Just making sure that we speak our piece to the people of Texas. And I don't know. I feel like maybe his aligning with Obama will definitely be detrimental, especially in upstate Texas.
Okay.
So his ability to not necessarily get so close to that is his way of saying, I'm going to try to have a fighting chance here. And I hope he does, because if he doesn't, then I think a lot of people in Texas will be very much disillusioned by the process.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't happen.
And maybe that was part of the strategy that Obama wouldn't endorse for fear that might hinder him. You know how tricky folk are with that. Also, folks, about 11 minutes before the hour, today is National Coming Out Day, right?
Yeah.
So is
JK, I'm not. No, I am.
Are any members of the Senate going to take advantage of this day? Like Lindsey Graham. I didn't say it. Brittany said that. She was asking me that. She wanted me to ask you if Lindsey Graham is going to come out.
Lindsey Graham, I there are a few people that I will say, like, you can go to hell. But Lindsey Graham, especially after the theatrics of what he pulled during the hearing after Blasey Fort's testimony, and then during Kavanaugh, it's like, where was all that passion? Where was all that just feeling within you when a survivor was out here essentially opening herself up to us for no reason other than, she said herself, her civic duty? Like, she did not benefit from laying her entire life out there, but Lindsey Graham thought it was okay to, I don't know. He just, as soon as he did that, and then the immediate aftermath where he's on all the talk shows talking about how Kavanaugh's the victim and how we should be sorry for ourselves. It's like, ugh, dude, come on.
Yeah.
This is, you're single, not by choice. Like, this is the truth.
He he was pretty sensational. That was interesting what you said. You said most people can go to hell. What did you say? But Lindsey Graham.
I said, I don't tell most people. Wait, what did I say? I think I said that. Something like, I don't tell most people to go to hell, but Lindsey Graham can go to hell.
Oh, is that what you said? Okay.
Something
I took it to mean something. I thought you were saying,
as a good Catholic boy,
you had something worse than hell reserved for Lindsey Graham.
Oh, I mean,
that's where I took it.
But that's still incredibly true. Whatever is after hell, like wherever the flames are a little hotter.
Going to hell with gasoline draws on.
Yeah.
So what happens on National Coming Out Day?
So National Coming Out Day, I always like to say that if you are comfortable wherever you are in your sexuality, if you want to use National Coming Out Day as the vehicle in which you can do so, then by all means do it. I used National Coming Out Day in 2007 to come out to my sister, and it was like not the easiest conversation. It was still an awkward conversation. Be like, hey, so National Coming Out Day is today. Cricket. I should probably tell you that I like a boy. Cricket. But it still was somewhat helpful because it lit the fire underneath me to finally say something, because I knew that I was not being my true self, and if there was ever a chance to do it, now was the day. But if you're not ready to come out, if you're not ready to come out to yourself, if you're not ready to come out to anybody in your family or in your life, don't feel pressure into coming out just because it's National Coming Out Day. It's just meant to be a way for a lot of people to share their own personal stories. I'll share my story on Twitter, and we can talk about it now here. But it's a way for a community to build by saying you're not alone in this very nuanced, complicated process of figuring out how you're meant to live in this life. But yeah, I used National Coming Out Day in 2007, and I think it was around National Coming Out Day when I told my parents a few years after that. It is a helpful tool.
You told your sister first.
I told my sister first because I'm very close to my sister.
And what was her reaction?
Her reaction was like, oh yeah, we kind of knew.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like that's the case for most gay people I know. It's like, oh yeah, we knew. Like,
we're waiting on you to tell us.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's how my parents
some people,
were.
I know some people right now that it's like you can tell they're on the cusp of coming out but still don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so what people do is, I wonder if you, so I'm not gay, this is what I do and others do, but I've noticed gay people do this too.
Mm-hmm.
When you see someone and it's kind of obvious, but they don't want to come out, you try to have conversations with them to make them feel comfortable with you, so they know, hey, just
we're both of the same here at this point.
Yeah, do you do that?
I do that a lot. Like, especially I'll throw little hints here and there. It's like, what? RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you like that? Okay, you're probably gay. Or have you been to this place because Hell's Kitchen is the gayborhood here.
Gayborhood.
Well, the more now the newer gayborhood. And so I'll say, oh, have you ever been to this place? And then that opens things up.
But then people like that. It's like they know the game, and so they still get around
they still find a way to figure out.
And it just drives you crazy. Like, why are you doing that? You know, and but there's somebody I know, and it's a mutual friend of myself, and other gay people.
Oh, okay.
And so we've all been kind of confirmed, like, the gay, and I'm not gay, but we ask the same questions, and even the people who are already out are like, yeah, Mark, we don't get it either, because we try to, they do what you do. They'll say certain things, and it's just, it's like the character that was on Saturday Night Live. You remember Pat?
Oh yeah.
I mean, some folk just have perfected that that character.
And like teach their own. However, somebody can best navigate their life. If that means being out, not being out, then all power to them.
So you're okay with people who still feel the need to not come out? That's still something you can live with.
If somebody is just a regular Joe or Jane and they're trying to figure out what identification they have, sometimes the words lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender don't mean anything to them, but they feel like they're still queer and they don't know where on the spectrum they lie, then okay, there are people who are non-binary, there are people who still, and then there are people who are transgender who then try to figure out their own sexual orientation after that. So they're murky waters depending on where you are, where you live, and how you're coming about it. But if you are somebody who's actively working against LGBT rights, and if you're actively doing homophobic, transphobic things, and you yourself are a member of the community, then what are you doing? Like, why do you feel the need to hurt your own people? And I'm sure there are a lot of people within the Republican Party who do that.
Internalized homophobia.
Yeah, there's always all these stories about how during CPAC or during the RNC, that if you open up any gay hookup app or dating app, that all these people show up. It's like, all right, but you're working for people who want to make sure that we pray the gay away. Why?
That time flew.
Oh my God, am I the first caller? Is this the song for the first caller?
No, that's something else.
There it is. I got so excited. I was like, did I call? Was I the first caller?
We'll return you to regular scheduled programming on the Pitbull channel. Thank you, everybody. And for those of you still watching on the stream, we thank you for joining us.
This song gets me so hyped. I think it's a good little morning song to get you start your day.
Barry White gets everybody hyped. Why'd you play that? Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I thought the song she was playing was the first caller song, and it wasn't, and so she played the first caller song instead.
Barry. I heard him say he thought that's what it was, but I didn't hear him say play it for me. But you just
Brittany hooked me up.
But you hooked it on up. That's what you did. So what are you doing? How are you celebrating National Coming Out Day today?
So I'll probably tweet my story. My story is very weird and intense in the sense that when I moved to New York, I was working at ABC News for a hot second, and then I started working here at Sirius, but I was working on the LGBT channel, and I never told my parents what channel I was working on because I still wasn't out to them. So for about 2 months, maybe about a full month. For a full month, I was working on the LGBT channel without my parents knowing what the channel was or who I was. And so I would do these news reports. I'm like, hey, for LQ, this is the LGBT channel. I'm Xorje, whatever. And my parents would say, we want to listen to you. Why don't you tell us what channel you're on?
God.
And so finally, I had to do it over Skype. I said, you know what? I'm not going home for a while, and I just need to say this now. So I told my sister, who had already known about me being gay at the time. So she sets up the Skype date, and we're all there on the computer. And I tell them, I said, well, you guys have been asking, so ta-da! I work on the LGBT channel. Also, I'm dating, and then I said the name of my ex-boyfriend because my parents had met him several times. We lived together in college, so they were aware of who he was. So I never fully said the words "I'm gay" to my parents. I just said I'm dating Jerry, and then they kind of inferred from there. So,
and what was their reaction?
They didn't say anything. So
that's the crickets.
It was the crickets. So it was like beat, and then my dad changed the subject.
I know that.
So we kept going. Yeah, we kept going for like another hour talking about stupid shit. Oh, sorry, I was talking about stupid stuff. And finally, we're done. Like, all right, Skype date's over. Got to go to bed. And so I texted my sister immediately after. So what did they say? What's going on? And she said, Mom and Dad just kind of closed the computer. I asked them if they wanted to talk. They said no. And they immediately went into the room and they closed the door. Now, we're an open door household. None of the doors are closed ever. When you go to bed, doors are open. That's just the way it is. And so, yeah. had to deal with that. The next day, my mom told me all the things that you want to be told. My mom said, I still love you. Everything's fine. You know, don't change who you are. We love you who you are. My dad, I didn't talk to him for about 3 weeks after, until like he had a chance to get a hold of everything. And the thing that I had to tell myself after my sister told me was, it took you what? Like 22 years. At this time I came out when I was 22. It took you like 22 years to be okay with yourself. You're giving dad like 2 seconds. Calm down. Like, you need to be a little more patient. And so I was.
Fair enough.
The thing that I will always appreciate though is after I came out to my parents, I kind of didn't care about anybody else knowing. And so I would post stuff on Facebook about politics stuff or just life stuff. And I was friends with all my relatives on Facebook. And so that left a lot of questions for them. And so I will always be indebted to my mom, because my mom took it upon herself to have to explain everything to everybody. And so my mom would tell my aunt, my mom would tell this person, my mom would tell that person. And so she did all of the coming out for me. And
That's what moms do.
That's what moms do.
That's great. That's great. So you're going to post about that today?
Yeah, I'll probably post about it. And then it gets a little more complicated after that. Just life.
But the bottom line too, this day exists so people can feel comfortable.
Yeah, we're trying to create an environment. I think National Coming Out Day is an opportunity for people who already are out to try to say to those who are almost there, just saying, it's okay. If you want to use this day, you can use this day. If you don't want to use this day, you don't have to use this day. But if you just need that little push, to fly, little bird off the cliff, then this could
I
be
wish
it.
we had more time, because I would actually open up the phone lines and ask people to come out who want to call in and say, I want to come out.
Mm-hmm.
We need to play Diana Ross too. I'm coming out. I wonder, was that song originally for that?
I feel like it would have been.
I don't know. We didn't know. Let me
What
tell you
else?
something. We didn't know what the Village People were.
What?
No, we just liked the music. And, with the words sound kind of interesting.
Super
fun to
buff
say-
guys talking about
fun to stay at the
macho
Fun to stay at the
man.
But, like, even now at the baseball games and the football games, people sing YMCA.
Oh, yeah.
All these straight people sing YMCA. No,
I feel like a good portion of the Village People are gay men, aren't they? I know one for sure is.
whatever. I don't know. But
Hopefully the Native American.
we were questioning back then, but nobody really did anything because we liked the music.
Mm-hmm.
In the Navy. I mean, we just didn't know. We would be like, well, what is he really saying?
Yeah.
I want to
Young
be.
man.
Yeah, right.
I love disco music. My dad's 40th high school reunion. He's gonna get mad because I'm putting him on blast. But like my dad's 40th high school reunion is next weekend. So he's class of 1978. So I grew up literally on Village People, Diana Ross, Donna Summer, Kool and the Gang,
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Casey
you
and the
know about-
Sunshine
yeah.
Band. I knew more about those artists
little
than I
things.
did about the Stones, the Beatles,
Yeah.
Credence, because what person
Make a
listens
little
to that
bit.
in a Mexican American household? You listen to Donna.
Get down tonight.
Oh my god, I love that
Get
song.
down tonight.
Like ring my bell. I should have
know
known I
about
was
all that.
gay listening to disco growing up.
Well, again, where I was, disco wasn't just for gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Disco was just disco. It wasn't until I got much older that I realized, what the disco life and culture provided as a safe space for gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What's your favorite disco song?
oh, please, I don't know. Well, there were two that were written for me.
Oh, okay.
Disco Inferno was written for me. And Sister Sledge wrote a song for me. Oh gosh, oh wow, he's the greatest dancer.
Oh,
But those were the two. Those are the two songs that were
He's the
written
greatest dancer.
in honor of me.
Nice.
When I used to show up, Anson,
Mm-hmm.
they used to call the fire department. That's why they called it Disco Inferno.
I love
Somebody called 911. So he's coming to burn up the floor, and I would,
that.
So.
Nice.
Anyway, all right, National Coming Out Day. So listen, anybody who's watching this on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or on Instagram, if you want to come out, just put it in the thread and we'll support you. Jorge will support you.
Always.
Okay. Good to see, man.
Likewise. Thank you.
26 days to Election Day.
Vote.
Brittany, you want to come wave to the people before we turn off the stream so they can see you this morning? Bright and early? Huh? The cameras look over this way.
She's like not about it.
I'm going to turn it around.
He's so
But as Nick, who's our guest, knows,
Mm-hmm.
she said that's annoying her. But just being in the room this morning was annoying.
You were not just being in the room this morning. You were asking me.
When I sat in the chair, she was annoyed.
Yeah, after you asked me 1,000
Existential. Annoying.
I'm just gonna turn your mic
I said, don't turn the mic off. I'm in the middle of the thing here. All right. Thank you. Jorge O
Hey.
on Twitter.
Yes.
Jorge Ho on Instagram. If all minds are clear, it has been made plain.